Good song. Is it different from before?
A little bit.
Okay.
This is Whiskey on the Mississippi.
Okay.
But we have our two tracks. This guy, Kevin MacLeod.
Right.
And hey, everybody, this is Jimmy Doane Show. Just talking about our music here. We have Kevin MacLeod. He writes these tracks, and what he does, obviously, is he swaps out one instrument for the other and does the same.
Right.
So we have another track which sounds almost like this, but the main lead is played by the keys, and then it goes into the guitar.
So it's just like this, except different.
Exactly.
Okay.
Reverse. So, hey, Bill. Hey, Gene. Good to see you guys. All right, look at that. Thumbs up. Never seen one of those before. So this is Jimmy Doane Show, as I was saying. It's 4 o'clock, so we do this. We are live on Facebook twice a week these days. Sundays and Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Is this a Sunday? No, this is a Wednesday.
That's right. And today is the 23rd of January. So,
We're loving it.
lots of news this week.
Okay,
What's
Jimmy
happening?
Doane and Counselor Curtis.
That's right, that's us.
Hi.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, this is good. Well, we definitely have some news.
There's been a lot. It's been interesting.
It's been a fair amount of news. It's interesting. Of course, we're in the 5th week of over a month now, the shutdown,
Yeah.
and the world is collapsing.
Well, and they say it's going to get worse with the traffic controller situation soon.
I heard about that. I don't believe it, of course, but it's no big deal. No. It's where the entire economy is going to collapse, and we're doomed. 5 weeks in, because the government is so essential to everything that if without the government, we're doomed. Mm-hmm. That's too bad. Okay, and of course the other thing is that AOC has told us we have 12 years left until death.
Well, 12. You say that, but actually, it's down to 11 already.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was 3 days ago. That Bernie has come out and said 11 years.
Is that right?
Yeah. So set your clocks.
Apparently, now I don't know. Again, I don't know exactly how that was, but it was 12 years until the extinction of the human race, or
I don't know if she meant the tipping point or whatever. She didn't clarify. It wasn't.
Okay.
It was whatever it is. She's assuming the
batten
worst.
down the hatches,
Right.
folks.
She read the worst case scenario in the worst climate report and went, "That's fact right there."
What was this AOC?
Science.
It was the CC, whatever it is, the
IPCC.
IPCC.
Even those guys, people keep talking about them. Even they don't have more than 2 meters of sea level rise in the worst case scenario by the end of the century, and most of them have 1 meter sea level rise, which is really on par with what has gone on for the last several centuries. And then some of them even have like 12 to 18 inches. So it's not like 12. Look, when you see Al Gore's movie and you watch his graphic of the sea level rise, it's
Right.
20 feet he's talking about.
Right. By now.
Well, no, it's by 2100 or something, but still, it's ridiculous.
Okay, yeah.
There's no possible change. We're talking about a millimeter of year sea level rise is what goes on. So, and they say maybe it's accelerated to a big 3 millimeters a year, and
Now, a millimeter is what?
yeah, it's something like that.
Okay.
And come on. And then here's the neatest thing I've seen recently. I've delved into this climate science quite a bit. I saw a video by a purported climate scientist who claims that the impact of CO2 concentration on temperature has an inversely logarithmic effect. That is to say, for every additional unit of carbon dioxide, you get 1/10 of the addition.
No.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Venus. It's Venus all
Right.
over again.
No,
This
no.
is the people don't understand. The
Venus
temperature of
effect.
Venus. It's all CO2, and the surface of Venus is melts lead.
This guy says the first
melts lead.
The first
You're dead.
50 parts per million.
This is it. Here's the new rhyme. It melts lead. You're dead.
That's right. This guy says that the first 50 parts per million of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere does everything that everybody says it does. Puts the water vapor up there, heats the earth, everything after that. And then there is a dramatic drop off as the logarithmic scale jumps in. And now, as we've seen, 40% increase in CO2 in the last 100 years, and the temperature has gone up half a degree or something. I mean, it hadn't gone up 40%. It's clearly not a direct relationship.
Well, today it's really hot out here.
It's super, super hot.
Well, I tell you, we almost hit 78 degrees today.
So this guy claims for every 100 parts per million carbon dioxide added in the future, we're going to gain like 1/10 of a degree.
Okay.
So in other words, we can cram the atmosphere.
Yeah, this is not 99 parts per million, but 100 parts per million.
Well, no, we're up to 400 parts per million. But
Okay,
he
right.
says we could go. He says 5, 6, 7, no problem. You'll get 1/10 of a degree each 100
Okay,
parts.
what is it? Okay, the whole point is, all this stuff is like, who cares?
Well, look, if you believe the AOC, if you believe the super cataclysmic predictions, if you watch Al Gore's movie and you go, oh, then Jesus, then everybody is crazy
Jesus.
because everybody's crazy because they're not seeing the imminent cataclysm, which is, knocking, and here it is, TikTok.
Oops, I'm sorry, TikTok. It's over here.
So but when you go through all of the different reports and everything,
Well, the bottom line is, look, here's the deal. I don't know how many people saw Al Gore's movie, and I don't know how many people
they
listened to
forced it into millions of schools. Millions of school kids watch
Okay,
that.
well, this is not billions, it's millions.
Well, it's tens of millions, I think. But even so,
It's the United States. Okay, if the United States tomorrow decided to have no carbon emissions, zero,
Right.
zero, nothing would happen.
very small impact, and of course, but now it's even better than that. Of course, we've talked about fusion and all the replacements for the power, which will go global instantaneously, and then of course. There's half a dozen people building big carbon sucking machines right now to suck the carbon out of the atmosphere. That's their whole goal is, I want to suck it right out of there.
Okay, so, well, the point is that what's the worst that could happen? Humans die.
Yeah, but that's bad. We don't want that.
Well, again, some of us will be around for a little while in our little caves, but as with the dinosaurs and everything else, something else will arise.
Yeah, but we don't. That's not cool. No, that's
okay.
no.
Well, okay. Well, okay. The other, of course, the big news. The other big news is for some reason is continuing and will not stop.
Yeah. Well, that's because they dug their hole so deep. I think.
Who?
The media.
Right.
They got in so deep.
And what is so amazing about this is we're talking now about the Catholic school people over there with the Indian whatever.
Right.
And of course they jumped on it, and a lot of this stuff. As the one thing that was good was in any other endeavor. If they hadn't been wearing the MAGA hats, if other things, no, it would have been a nothing burger.
Right.
Nobody would have said a word. But because, as Joy Behar said, all we care about is getting rid of Trump.
Yeah. Well,
she flat out admitted it. This is why we did this. Because
it was an attack on Trump,
right?
And they used the kids as the target, as the leverage,
right? Exactly, as the not targets, but what do you call it?
The fall guy,
whatever, something like that.
Bad.
And what's bad, of course, about it. No, we don't know. We're not going to go into this too much because.
Everybody has.
Everybody has, number one, but the story continues because apparently the diocese people, the Pope people down there, whoever they are, the under Pope, I'm sorry, said we're investigating. We may expel these students. We don't know. It looks bad.
That was days ago, though. I think at this point,
days ago. That's right. Ancient history. That's dinosaur stuff.
They are lawyered up at this point, and if anybody knows what's good for them, they will stay out of the way of these kids. Because if I were their lawyer, I would be blazing a trail. I mean, taking names, media. Kathy Griffin, CNN. I mean, there would be suits all over the place. Libel, defamation.
Oh, totally.
Slander.
Slander, right.
Man,
that was the thing. It was interesting because several attorneys have said, we're taking this for free. And I'm thinking, well, okay.
Man, I tell you, I would have rung the guy's phone in 1 minute if I was a tort attorney. I mean,
Rolodex here.
Seriously.
We're calling. Hey, how do you pop?
It's fish in a barrel.
That's the beauty of word processing is because you already have the stuff on there and you just fill in the names.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Same complaint as the last one. Well,
they may have taunted an American. and Native American. And of course, it also turns out this guy, and he did say, I was in the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
So was I.
Yeah, exactly. Vietnam era veteran. Everybody who lived through that time. Well, we don't know. I don't know what his status is at this point. But to me, the most damaging thing to the Phillips situation is that the black guys who made the video identify Phillips as their spiritual leader as he's walking up to the kids. Yeah, they say, "Here goes Gad, our spiritual leader, into the crowd," and then you see it. And so whatever negativity you harbor against the black Israelites, you should apply to Phillips as well. They're his followers.
Yeah.
And so they're there screaming F word, N word, incest, sodomites, everything. School, go shoot up a school, they tell the kids on several occasions, okay? Go shoot up a school.
Well,
so, and they've got no negative press, okay?
Right.
Right. People just blowing them off probably because they're black and nobody wants to take on that attack. But it's weird because I would assume that people would go after them. I mean, the left, as much as they stand up for against homophobia, here are blatant. Objectively, nobody can deny their homophobia.
Well, it gives bad meaning to the word blatant.
Seriously.
I mean, this is beyond blatant.
Way beyond. And yet nobody is attacking these guys, and they are there with Phillips. So, my favorite quote, though, the best of the entire situation came from Molyneux. Did you see his quote?
No.
So
Stefan Molyneux, his thing is...
Free Domain Radio.
Free Domain Radio, right?
Yeah. But no, his great quote when Crying Phillips was talking about how there was never a wall, and there was never supposed to be a wall, and these are Native American lands. Molyneux asked, "So how'd that work out for you?"
Yeah, right. You have to look at the guy. He didn't look all that healthy. But anyway. So anyway,
probably should have built a wall there against.
Probably, yeah, that's right. Okay, moving on. So anyway, those are the big deals. Are Shutdown still goes on, and apparently there's supposed to be something like this week, maybe. They're going to resolve it. And what a lot of people are hoping is that no caving on either side. So who knows?
Well, it'd be easy. I mean, I think.
Well, the other thing is that other than the 800,000 people that are not getting a paycheck, out of the 150 million people that work, who cares? Kind of thing.
Well, right. But that's why I say we'll see if the air traffic control situation or the screeners or whatever it is. They claim if they shut down a bunch of flights, that'll have a big impact on commerce, and that'll piss a lot of people off. It'll have an impact. I mean, it'll damage January or whatever month it is,
Well, the question, of course, is then who gets the blame?
Well, I think Trump's going to get the blame.
You do?
Yeah, because he came out and owned it to begin with.
Yeah, I understand that, but and of course, the other thing is that he's one guy.
Right.
It's one thing to say I'm going to blame the Congress.
Right.
But that's 550 people or whatever.
Yeah.
So
anybody who thinks about it realizes it's obviously both sides' fault because both sides could fix it in 2 seconds. So I mean, if you're a federal worker, I'd be pissed at both. Personally, I'd be like, come on, don't use me as your pawn again to get your political thing there.
Yeah,
but
well, there's lots to be said about that. Okay, on another thing that has nothing to do with anything.
Yes. Perfect news.
4 on trial in Paris over horsemeat scandal. Now, one of the things that I loved was one of the greatest shows that I ever saw was Ally McBeal.
Uh-huh.
And apparently some guy, this is for those of you, this is like 10 years ago, Ally McBeal, one of the first shows they had, and a guy was suing because he'd gone to a restaurant and he loved his meal, it was really good, and he found out it was horse meat instead of steak, and he's suing because it was horse meat, and he ordered steak. Didn't complain about the taste or anything like that. And of course, at the end, the guy who was doing the lawyer who was doing the defense had a bottle of glue and said, "There's your horse meat." Put it on the thing. It was just it was hysterical. One of the Huh?
Yeah.
It was one of the best closings I've ever seen. Anyway,
Yeah, it was fantastic.
it was fantastic. So anyway, go back and see that if it's ever on Netflix. 4 people went on trial in Paris on Monday over 2013 meat scandal in Europe saw millions of meals withdrawn from supermarket shelves after they were found contained horse meat instead of beef. Now, no offense, I'm not sure you can tell the difference. I mean,
Apparently not. I mean,
millions of pounds.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a big scandal that you had meat instead of meat.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah, the only
they
thing
can be sentenced up to 10 years. Apparently, it was some kind of a scandal thing where apparently there was a collusion where the horse meat people were putting this into the packaged meats in the various stores all over the place. And the store people knew about it, and somebody found out about it. But I mean, like, who would have known? I mean,
Yeah, to me, this sounds like a civil suit. Yeah,
Right,
sue 'em
right.
for breach of contract. You didn't
Right.
provide the correct meat.
they're talking about 10 years in jail for this.
Yeah,
and I think
well,
so anyway, the 4 men are accused of helping organize the sale of 500 tons of horse meat in 2012 and 2013 to some company or whatever it is, sold to 28 different companies in 13 European countries. I mean, and of course, like you say, it's civil servant, but where are the bodies? Who's dead?
Well, yeah, well, that's what I said. I don't know what kind of crime. I guess there's like I said, there. You know how they
This
are in
is
France.
2012,
If you put the wrong
2013, and
label,
here it is 2018, and oh my God, Ethel, I'm heading up
but
there.
we're talking about the frogs here, and you know that they will put people in jail for putting the
Don't say
wrong.
the frogs.
They'll put for wrong
It's not frog meat. It's no, I know.
the wrong label on the wine.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh no, you
Do
can't.
not even try to do that.
No, this is wrong. You cannot say champagne with.
That you cannot
it must
say
be from
champagne.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right. Okay.
So, Appalachian Controllee.
That's right. Now, the next item on my list, of course, is the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, not Super Bowl, the playoff.
Okay.
That is still going on.
Oh, you mean the call, the
call.
hideous call.
This is the call.
I heard that there's a bunch of season ticket holders that filed a lawsuit against the NFL.
They're suing. They want to play. They want a do-over. They want a do-over. They said at the very least they want to start the clock at whatever
Right.
it was.
Yeah.
And or the whole game.
Yeah.
And it's stunning to because as somebody once, I mean, the memes on this are hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
The memes are the when you see the cartoons on Facebook, they show they show the refs, with their glasses on and their guide dogs.
Oh right. Oh yeah.
And the only people that didn't see the play, there are only 6 people that did not see the play
Right.
out of the millions that were watching. And so,
Yeah. It almost seemed like this is one of those shoeless Joe Jackson type of situations. We didn't see that. No, didn't see it. None of it. You didn't see it, did you? You didn't see it. You didn't see it.
What's hysterical, of course, is the whole thing was that everybody on both sides saw it. It was like crystal clear, and of course how often when you watch these games, they'll do a replay on the close calls, and you'll see the guy sliding into the end zone. Did he have the ball?
Right.
Did a knee touch 1st? And we're talking microseconds.
Yeah.
And the officials expected. Apparently, this was like there was like daylight between.
Oh yeah. Didn't you see the play? It was.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it.
there's no question. Cleaned him out.
There's no question. It was helmet, everything.
Yeah.
And the whole deal. It was so funny, and of course, as somebody once said, well, they still had a chance.
Well,
The game wasn't over.
Right.
They still could have made it or what. But let's face it. It was it could have been
1st and 10 on the 20 with
Right,
a
and
minute
as opposed to
45 left. They could have practically run out the clock after.
right, exactly.
They needed to do.
So there was one Coleman 48 showing on the Saints quarterback. Dree Brew feathered the ball and down the right sideline. Tommy Lee Lewis, who looked back for it only to take a crushing head from the Rams corner guy, whatever, Coleman, who was on time for a hit like the Giants used to be on time for Tom Coughlin's meetings about 5 minutes early. It was pass interference, helmet to helmet, and if the officials call it, Saints would have had a 1st and goal on the 5 with a minute and a half, with almost 2 minutes left, and they, and whatever. I mean, the whole deal is instead they kick the field goal, blah blah blah, whatever. The whole point is that it's one thing to be 1st and 10 on the 5, and nothing in 10 on way out someplace or another.
4th, and they had to kick a field goal, and then they turn it over with 2 minutes left. And
Right.
And the other team went down, kicked their field goal, went into overtime, and then they won in overtime. So,
Right. I mean, so anyway, it's it's fascinating how this is now. They're apparently going to change the rules.
oh yeah, again,
Apparently, they're going to have this review business like all the time.
right.
I mean, even now it's interesting because it's only been in the last couple of years where the refs have gone over and peeped into the little thing here to see something, and of course ABC, NBC, whatever it is, they've got like 97 cameras. From every slow mo to beat the band, and so I guess you can review all that stuff. But it's interesting because it wasn't too long ago that the refs called it, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now this, of course, was so obvious. Obviously, the fans in the stand were saying, "Whoa, wait a minent."
Well, once you have the technology to view everything from every angle, why wouldn't you? And that's what they decided.
Right, I guess.
And, I mean, for the close call, and you have the flag that they throw out there, contest the call, and then when you get 2 of those or whatever it is.
Yeah, one thing is, of course, when they used to, I don't know how it is now, but now I think in baseball, if you only allowed like 2 contested calls or something before things
I don't know about baseball at all.
Well, or maybe it's football. You're only allowed to do 1 or 2 or 3 a game or something like that.
Yeah.
But what's interesting now, and especially in baseball, is when you watch the pitcher, they have a little box in there in front of the
But it's unofficial. It's like the line.
No, I know it's not official. But what I'm saying is that you can very often you can look at this, and we here watching the little box and everything, and the ref is right there, and we're looking at it and saying it's out. This was a ball, and the ref saying strike 2. So they're what's going to happen now? I don't know. I mean, the rest of us know. Who cares? Okay. Let's just see here. And Kamala Harris now is running for president of the United States.
Oh my God! This was I felt so bad for her.
Did you?
Oh yeah, she came out. It was on like the Today Show or something.
Is that right?
And there's 2 people, and they're like, Miss Harris, you're here, and would you like to make an announcement? And she was like, yes, I'm running for president of the United States. And you hear one person in the studio go, yay!
Okay. Well, the other thing was
it was just
they asked her, what's your position? Well, my position is I love the United States, and
right. Well, her slogan is like for the people, so super specific.
But the point is, I have never seen here, even in Gainesville, if you run for the school board, it's for the people, or that's for the students.
For the children, right?
For the children, right? But I mean, who hasn't in the last 100 years, I would say that there's been thousands of people who have run for the people.
Yeah,
what's his name? The attorney here.
Oh yeah, that's his slogan. Yeah,
his slogan is for the people.
Morgan and Morgan.
Morgan and Morgan for the people.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not going to sue her because he hit. That guy has made billions of dollars off of that.
Seriously,
literally,
like taking my thing.
That's it. He actually might, honestly, because this guy. The thing about this guy has a $2 billion legal tort industry that covers at least Florida and Georgia.
Really?
He is the largest entrepreneur in the state of Florida, I believe.
Now, is he for or against the marijuana?
For
the marijuana.
Yes.
He's put big bucks
into that.
for openers.
Right. And
for the people.
Yes. And now every time you Google for the people in Florida, you're going to get
exactly.
it might be
Morgan and Morgan, right.
So I can see him getting involved in some way and saying, "Hey man,
he's an attorney."
Oh,
that's what attorneys do.
No, yeah.
We sue.
That's right. No, like, just the publicity alone for.
Totally.
Why not?
I was going to say there's something else that came up with that, and that is I think we talked about it last week a little bit. Was there's no such thing as bad publicity, when you.
Well, not really. I mean,
there is.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
some, but.
Who was it? God, I saw another one that. Never mind. I'll think of it.
Another thing about Kamala is that did you see Chris Matthews came out this week and asked the question, whether or not she was viewed as African American.
Really?
Yeah.
And
he's being pilloried right now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't.
They're like,
of course,
what are you talking about?
Chris Matthews was the tinkle up the leg.
Yes, yes.
Obama. I mean, is this guy still on? I mean,
oh yeah, and he's still on. And but it's just funny though that they're gonna eat him alive because he dared to question her objective visual. As we talked about, she looks half Indian. To us, if you were to put her in a lineup and you were to say, name that ethnicity, I would not say black. I would say half Indian, maybe half Pakistani, something like that.
But now wait, are you going to put her in a lineup with Elizabeth Warren?
Oh yeah.
Who's the Indian?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. That's. Yeah. So we'll see. Well, ethnicity, man. It's all about ethnicity here in this. Election.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, anyway, so she's running now. There's another one, and I don't know if I put it on here. There's a brand new person. Let me just see here if I've got it. If I put it in here. There's a brand new person that I've never heard of that's also decided to run, and people are saying, "Well, gosh, who is this guy?" I already, of course, out of the 20 or some people that are running. No, I don't have it. I don't have. He's the mayor of some town or something, and he's thrown his hat and actually it's made some news. So apparently, he's known in Cincinnati or something.
Way to cover that story, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Excuse me. Come on. Okay, running and okay. I'm going to skip that one. Here's another thing in the to be dovetailed with the last item. Venezuela military coup group arrested after a call to disavow Maduro. Now what happened apparently was about 30 soldiers or whatever got together and took over like a radio station or something. Let's go revolt against Maduro. And they got arrested like right away. Yeah, right. And they got arrested right away. And they posted an appeal for public support in a video. And I need your help to take to the streets. A man who identified himself as the group's sergeant in the video images. Which is kind of interesting because, this is the sort of thing that is popping up, I guess. This was such a small little tiny thing, but the fact is that Maduro was elected by, 94% of the electorate and has another 6-year term. And the place is, of course, going down the toilet, except maybe Russia's going to supply them with stuff. But this is, I don't know, is this the beginning of the, no, not the beginning. I mean, it's a failed state, but
yeah, well, it has to, I've been waiting for a while to get to the point where enough people are starving to death. They are going to.
But they didn't take to the streets. This guy here was.
Well, apparently they are today. Or
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, I don't have the latest news.
There's some. I saw a big crowd in some street in Venezuela.
I did see that. I did see a big crowd.
And friend Funko posted it.
Yeah. No, the big crowds are there. I mean, there's apparently some big crowds. Of course, they're kind of skinny people because they've been not eating any food for a while.
Yeah.
All right. Next, China's set to grow, post slowest growth in 28 years.
Yeah.
And more stimulus is seen. Now, two things to consider here. Number one, their growth was only 6.4%.
Yeah, which is only 3 times ours.
Right, exactly. I mean, are you kidding me?
That was down from 12 or something from a few years ago.
I understand that, but when you look at and see what growth, how you do growth, and the simple fact is that
6 is good.
It's fabulous. Yeah. Are you kidding? The United States from 1776 until today, or until a couple of years ago, the average growth rate in the United States was like 4.5 or 5%. Yeah. I mean, for 200 years.
And our boom times were like 7.
Right, tops. Yeah, and that was like for a year.
Okay.
Or 2 maybe. Okay. During like right after the Second World War, for instance. No, I mean really, that was okay. So here everybody's panic stricken that these guys are cooled to the slowest rate in 28 years amid weakening domestic demand and bruising U.S. tariffs, adding to pressure on Beijing to roll out more support measures. Now, what they're going to do is the stupidest thing they can do. What's amazing, of course, is one of the reasons that we've had the kind of growth, if you want to call it that, in the last decade has been the stimulus package. Mm-hmm. The fact that Bush end of Bush and beginning of what's his name,
All of Obama.
decide to pump $1 trillion into the banks or whatever it is to save the economy, and it was BS from day one. I mean, it was just, why didn't you just, well, I forget what the
This was the quick fix, man. This was the give the druggie the drugs now.
right, that's right.
Put him in the rehab and just pump him up full of heroin or methadone or whatever it is, and then we'll worry about the withdrawals later.
And we'll worry about it. It's just called kicking the can down the road. It's been great. So anyway,
So China's going to do that too. Now they're going to stick
exactly.
to that.
What they've done, the gross domestic, the GDP growth to 6.6%. Somebody's saying that it's going to go down to 6.6% from 6.8 is what they think the growth in China.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, we should wish so much. I mean, it just really bad. Okay, let me just see here if I've got something else. Oh, okay. This week is Davos.
Yes.
Davos, I don't know if you know this, but Davos is where the billionaires show up once a year and decide the fate.
Is this Bilderberg? The Bilderberg group?
I guess they might be there.
Illuminati?
Yeah, a lot of those people, I guess. I mean,
Right.
who knows? Deep state,
Right.
whatever. They're all there. Anyway, 1,500 private jets to descend on Davos this week.
Private jets, man.
Up from 50% last year. But what's funny is you say private, when you think about private jets, you think about people that own their own. It turns out that about half of those are rented jets.
Okay.
And the company that rents jets is killing them. I mean, he's loving it. They're loving it because apparently the some of the favorite jets are these huge monsters. It's not like a little Citation.
Oh no.
No. We're talking
727 or something.
We're talking
Outfitted
about
the bar and everything.
That's right. We're talking about the big ones. And so some would call it ironic, others hypocritical, but whatever your level of cynicism, here are the facts. As its top global risk for 2018 and 2019 terms of likelihood, this year's billionaire boondoggle at the World Economic Forum in Davos, the big thing that they're worried about is the big topic. All the stuff that they're going to talk about is global warming.
Really?
Yeah, that's the big topic. That's the numero uno topic. And I don't know why, what's her name's not there, AOC, but apparently she's not, high on the list yet.
Doesn't have her $1 billion yet.
No, I guess not, or private jet or something. But
Kylie Jenner can go with her $1 billion.
well, the thing about it, what I'm
19
loving
years
is,
old.
of course, you're worried about pollution in the atmosphere, and you got your 1,500 jets that are cruising in this one place.
Well, it's dropping the bucket. Drop in the bucket.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else I got here. This fantastic. That's the okay. A writing professor grading on quality is racist.
Yeah.
This American University in Washington, D.C., literally within walking distance where I grew up, is hosting an event in February 1st on anti-racist grading with a professor who serves as director of a writing center which argues that American grammar is racist and unjust language structure. Now, this reminds me of not too long ago when Maxine was talking about, what did she talk about? The talk was...
Ebonics or something?
Ebonics. Ebonics, right. And this was legitimate.
Right.
Should teach Ebonics.
Right.
Well, apparently this thing, a seminar titled, Grading Ain't Just Grading. I love that. What? Ain't just rethinking writing assessment technologies towards anti-racist ends.
Clearly, it's racist to teach a French person English because what's wrong with French?
Well, of course, that brings up right. Well, of course, that brings up the other thing, which are we going to talk? Are we going to talk about the gender thing today? Yes.
What,
no.
Gene-edited babies or something?
No. There was the. This is a little branch from what we just talked about. Now I'm going to come back here to the writing professor.
Okay.
About the grading, ain't just grading, and so forth. The fact is that they don't want to grade people's paper on grammar or anything like that. It's the effort that you put into writing, and that's your grade. Nothing to do with the content.
This reminds me of the Seinfeld bit where he talks about the guy getting fired from the think tank.
No.
You never seen that one?
I'm sure I have, but tell me.
So they're gonna fire a guy from a think tank, and they're like, we don't think you've been thinking hard enough here. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm racking my brains out here.
I'm
sorry.
Well, that's all on. I'll have to go because I think all the Seinfelds are on Netflix now.
So this is the same kind of thing where it's like, well, I worked super hard. I didn't put anything actually on the paper, but the effort, you would not believe.
Well, here's the deal. Apparently, apparently if you put enough words on the paper, that constitutes effort, and you get your A.
I wrote
in a published essay called "A Gradeless." It's a gradeless writing course that focuses on labor and assessing, in which he argues in favor of dispensing almost completely.
Wait a minute. Focuses on labor, so then he is going to grade them.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh, you get a grade on it.
Aha!
But not on the content.
Still, he's grading them on something.
How many words?
That sounds like it's too far.
How many words? Right. How many words did you dispensing almost completely with judgments of quality when producing the course grades?
Sure.
So anyway, the
why don't they just give them colors as grades? You got an orange. What does that mean?
I think it's been usurped by the people who talk about the DEF CON, whatever it is. We have an orange alert.
Today. Oh, right, yeah, yellow alert, green, yellow, purple.
Like who knows?
Like purple. What the hell does purple mean? No, the names of them. It's elevated, like enhanced, ratcheted up. I mean, which one is above the other one? You never know. There's no.
Well, it's funny because one of the things you can always get on YouTube are all of the George Carlin talks on English, on the language, and what does it mean, and how it's changed. And he says, this is what this means, and it's really just hysterical stuff.
Well, and there's actually one of those we forgot to mention in the kids' story, which is the Facecrime.
Yes, that's right. There's the smirk.
Yes,
the smirk is the This is what's funny is this kid, as you know, when you see the video, this one kid is sitting there just going.
Yeah,
and of course the video or the picture shows him right up, they're in each other's face.
Right.
And one guy's beating the drum, and this kid is just sitting there going. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, this right away we know right away guilty, and as you well know, as they said. We've gotten threats, for God's sakes, on our families' lives.
Right.
They've been talking about bombing the school.
It's remarkable to me how many people will take the leap of interpreting that smile. As though they know anything about what the kid's thinking.
This is what Scott Adams, and of course he made the same mistake. By God!
I know.
He told, it's called reading people's minds.
Right.
And today, as a matter of fact, he had a thing where his little alter ego, I forget what his name is, Daryl or something. He puts on a little.
Oh yeah.
And I have not seen the whole thing. I just listened to it, and he said, okay. I'm going to make this face.
What's Daryl thinking?
What is Daryl thinking, right? And he made this face. I haven't seen it. But the bottom line was, the only part I heard, I was in the car, was, did you get what I was thinking? And he says, if you guessed I hate Trump, then you were right, or whatever.
Right.
This is my I hate Trump look. Mm-hmm. Like Joy Behar, who came out flat admitted, the only thing we want to do is get rid of Trump. Mm-hmm. On The View. But as far as the kids were concerned, but I mean, this was, like you say, the face crime.
Right. Well, what's great is there's an awesome excerpt from 1984, from Orwell's 1984, going around the internet,
right,
which talks about the way that you can accidentally make a face and be convicted of a face crime, and this is literally what's happening to this poor kid.
And they don't see it.
Well, no. And what's amazing also is when you watch the interview with the kid, and there was one today, some lefty girl interviewed the kid. He looks like a boy. I mean, a child. He is obviously so young and naive, and I mean, to
How is this
ascribe
standing?
all of these intentions to this kid is just insanity. It's amazing. And I just but so Facecrime, there it is. But so to bring us back to this this grading thing, what
Well, it's just it's they want to conceive writing as labor, and that's all, and calculate the course grades by labor completed, and dispense almost completely with judgments of quality when producing course grades. This whoever was lady said or whatever. This is my writing course and allows me to cultivate a more critical, democratic community. It shares responsibility and blah. But I mean, you just sit there and you're going, this is gibberish.
he's not going to have a job for long.
I think it's a girl, actually. It
Okay.
doesn't really matter.
Still.
But, well, you say that, but I mean, in academia these days, the crazy... Tenure, absolutely right. So that allows students to democratically address difference and see acts of assessing as acts of reading critical, blah, 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 blah.
You know what? I'm going to contrast this with a story that I saw today by John Stossel,
Okay.
who talked about education in America.
He's really good about it.
He is, and he talked about this this Hispanic school in, I think it was Southern California, that was churning out 1/4 of the pass grades for Mexican Americans on the AP Calculus exam. 1/4 of all of the Mexicans who passed the AP Calculus exam came from this one high school, taught by this one guy.
Okay.
Jaime, whatever his name is. Apparently, fantastic teacher.
Obviously.
And he taught for several years, and his students were kicking butt until the other teachers got jealous and demoted him and kicked him out. And so,
I tell you, I've seen the same. I remember, I'm talking 50, 60 years ago when I went to work as a student over in the university thing, part-time, filing stuff, and they said, slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down, you're doing too much, you're working too fast.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't too long before I got out of that.
Oh, and one other thing, since we're talking about government actions, I'll just super quick. Did you see that Elon Musk pointed out or said he's going to follow through with his proposition? He's going to personally clean up the Flint, Michigan.
I saw that, yes.
Yeah, he's going to pay for the filtration systems
Yeah.
and such.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to point out about this is it's one of my friends posted a meme the other day. It said something about Flint and government and how we need government and stuff. And here's Flint, Michigan. The government there has already collected the money that would be required to fix the system.
Really?
Through their tax. Well, they have to have, because they're the taxing authority, so they can do whatever they want.
I didn't think they had anywhere near. No, everybody's gone out of there, haven't they, or something? I mean, they collected the money. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm assuming.
I'm saying that they have the authority to collect the money.
Okay, that could be.
And so this problem has been going on for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
And people are still paying their taxes. Whoever still lives there. And,
Well,
and maybe it's all poor people and they don't pay any taxes.
Right,
But,
that could be.
But I think that the municipality has money, and if they wanted to, they could allocate those resources to the water thing. But they don't. And they haven't, for whatever reason. And the federal government hasn't stepped in, and FEMA hasn't stepped in, and nobody stepped in until Elon Musk. And here's a private citizen with cash who's just going to come in and charitably fix the situation. And to me, this is how the future of government will operate. You'll have a problem, and you'll have an entrepreneur, you'll have a proprietor, a benevolent person come in and take care of the situation. So.
Okay, well, of course, then you have another thing about government, and that is the apparently in the California or some city legislature, they've decided to do away, San Francisco, I think, they've decided to do away with genders. And no, you had to see this. It was really hysterical. They decided that that you're not allowed to use he, she, or anything like that anymore, and you have to use they. Interestingly enough, the woman who was proposing this, I don't know the exact quote. You have to go. You can Google it and see it. But she said, "Blah blah blah. We need to do this, that, and the other thing." and so, and she said that, and they stopped her. She said, "Oh, I meant they said so and so." She's tripped up on her own thing using the gender because we all do. And of course, the first question is, what about Spanish, where everything's a gender? I mean,
oh yeah,
I mean,
have to change the whole
what do
language.
you do with manholes? And I mean, fire people now. I mean, fire people are the ones that are not working anymore.
I mean, it's not just Spanish, French, Italian, all the
no, that's right. They're all. What are you going? I mean, you got to ask yourself.
Look, those countries don't have that problem.
I know that.
It's
I
just
know that.
us.
But what I'm saying is this: is that this is in California, where most a huge population are Spanish, and they. When you tell them not to use gender anymore, what are you going to do?
Me. It's like people who. It's like people who object to the word actress versus actor. It's like when I say actress, I'm not saying this person is an actor and they also suck because they're a woman. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're an actor who is female. It's just extra information. It's not negative in any way. And it's the same for comedian or waitress or anything. I mean, there's no.
Well, you don't like. I object.
Okay.
Because you don't have doctoress.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, why not?
You have doctors.
Well, my point is, if I was a doctoress, I would want to be called a doctoress as opposed to a doctor. Why would I want to be called a doctor?
Because you're a doctor.
I know, but I'm a girl. If I'm a girl, I would say, look, call me a doctress. That's what I am. Why not? It's better. I mean, I think it's better. It's more information. It's.
But well, what if you're a transgender person?
I'll come up with something.
Okay. What if you're cis or whatever the hell it is?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. The next item I've got here is don't fall for the argument about settled science. We've talked about this before, that it's settled science. This is an op-ed piece. I'm quoting. I am dismayed to hear that NBC's Meet the Press, this is Chuck Todd, I think, is actually blaming science for its decision to shut down any intelligent argument, meaningful discussion about climate change. What they've decided to do, apparently, is we're not going to have people on the panel on Sunday morning that are climate
on the other side, right?
Deniers, huh?
On the other side,
right? We're just not going to have because because
giving them too much audience.
No, it's wrong. Right. I mean, we're just not going to have. It's settled science.
Right.
So it's here's the deal. We're going to have.
You don't have to listen to the other side if you're right.
No, that's right. Well, here's the deal. If the Earth is a sphere, and we're not going to have anybody up here that says the Earth is flat.
No, because we can't sustain that type of criticism.
No, but another altogether, the lesson should be crystal clear. Science, which I believe to be the most brilliant discipline we have for understanding the physical universe, is fallible and therefore always open to debate. And of course, that's the thing, is that science is one of those things that literally is always open. It doesn't. Yeah. You don't have to. People say, well, what about Galileo and what about Copernicus and all these people, that they were alone people in a sea of people that call them heretics. You can't believe, and these are the people that we're talking about, the sun being the center instead of the earth, and blah, blah, blah. And they were universally pillared. In fact, one of the guys, I forget which one it was, Galileo or one of them, got locked up for, on.
I'm sure lots of people got.
But my point is that because it was settled science that the Earth was, from Ptolemy or whatever.
Right.
The Earth is,
and of course, the reason is because it was part of their religion.
I understand that. And so now here we are, apparently, and you've hit the nail on the head. Climate business is
a religion.
It's a religion.
It's a religion at this point because they believe in this stuff and they don't want to hear the other side. And as soon as you get to the point where you don't want to hear the other side, you're off the deep end.
Not only that, of course, the other thing is that I talk about in this is, personally, when I listen to Scott Adams, for instance, he says he's still on the edge or whatever. He doesn't know if it's good or bad or whatever. Or denier, is it happening? And I'm saying, I don't care. It doesn't matter. If the Earth is gonna end in 12 years, fine. Something.
That's just because you're not counting on making it past 12.
Okay.
Come on.
But I mean,
that's why you don't
how
care.
are you going to fix it? it's going to cost $1 trillion, $10 trillion,
Well,
50
no,
trillion.
no, look.
Hey, there's always a risk-reward ratio. The
Well, look,
fact
AOC asked the question. You just worried about money?
yeah, I know that. No, they did not continue that particular. Yeah, is that all?
That's all you
money?
care about is money?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
It's certainly a factor. Let's call it a factor.
It's, how about it, AOC, dear honey, darling,
Ooh.
AOC, I know.
Ooh.
We've decided we added it up and we decided that the bill is $100 trillion. Okay with that? It's just money.
Sure. Hey, we can print it.
We can print it, right? Okay. The last thing I've got is the. This is one of two. The Saturday Night Live writer offers blowjobs
Jesus, yeah.
to anyone who will punch the MAGA kid in the face.
This is another person that would be on my sue list.
I mean, here's the deal. I will blow, and this is the thing is, the grammar is good. She says, I will blow whoever instead of I will blow whomever.
Yeah.
Manages to punch that MAGA kid in the face. Beatty, whoever she was listed by Vogue as one of the 5 comedians who might help you stay sane for the next 4 years upon President's inauguration, took her cues from Nina Burleigh, whoever it is, during the Covington Catholic schoolboys controversy weekend by offering fellatio to any chivalrous gent
Yeah.
willing to punch the lights out of that MAGA kid seen smiling on the viral video. And of course, the thing is that the thing was. Could I punch myself in the face, or I mean, or the kid? The kid could punch himself in the face and go get the blowjob.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I mean,
that would be the thing to do.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Here,
I got this one.
I got this one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Hey, honey.
Well,
I'm
what you do
punching
is,
my face.
Well, what you do is you line up like 3 of your buddies. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take one for the team here.
That's it.
All right, go get your. You know, all right, go
That's
get
it.
your.
No,
you know, and you just
there's
send,
more
you send
than
your
one,
friends.
There's more than one girl that apparently, or woman, or actress. I mean, we're talking about people that you'd love to have.
Boy,
it.
he's lucky. She's lucky that kid wasn't in college because he would be lining up friends. And they'd be paying him. Is
Well,
the thing.
the
What
point
you
is-
do is you'd be like, hey, $100, I'll take a shot in the face.
Well, here's the deal. You got to understand that if it was the kid's like 16 years old.
yeah,
or so.
17.
17, and of course,
Looks
what would happen
15.
is what would happen if it's a 16 or 17-year-old kid that punches him in the face. Well, that's a child. What do you call it? You get put on the sex list or whatever.
Well, not for the punch, but for the.
No, for the blowjob.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about if she gives a blow.
Yeah, well, that's why she actually took substantial steps to create a conspiracy to commit a crime. I mean, she could be sued. It's that simple. It's like you can't do stuff like that.
But I'm just saying that if a 15-year-old, I mean, if I was 15 years old, I'd run up there,
Oh, yeah.
film, click, hey honey, I'm here, and then of course if she decided to do it, we're talking, guess what? Jail time. You're on the list forever. You can't move the 1,000 feet of a church or a school or whatever. God.
Right. Well, obviously she was joking in a horrifying way by literally punching down. It's so funny. You know, the comics know not to punch down. You know not to. You don't make fun of people who you are vastly superior to in some way or another just to make fun of them. It's
Well, wait. You do this if you're Bill Engvall or whatever it is. You might be a redneck if.
well, no, but see, he is one.
That's true.
He can
okay,
do
okay,
that.
right.
You can
Yeah,
call
right.
yourself
he's
out.
punching level, right?
Exactly.
Okay, you're
And
right.
so-
You're right.
And that's what you have to do. You have to inoculate like that, and she should know that. And the problem is, there's no way she can put herself into the teen category anymore. So you're an
She
adult. You're an adult, and you're advocating violence against a child. It's just not even funny. I mean,
got a problem.
nice try, swing and a miss. And I'll never get mad at a comic for trying to make a joke, but that's just like, ugh, that's dumb, that's bad. And then I want to say this. There was, of course, they had the 3-point shot photograph of the kids.
Yes.
All the kids in basketball uniforms crying for the 3-point shot. and calling for the 3-point shot, and everybody made that out to be the white power symbol.
Yeah.
Which is
You're right. No.
they've come out, and the blackface thing. The blackface thing has come out where they had the blackout at the school and everything. And to me, I have no sympathy anymore for anybody who is offended by blackface. I'm sorry. Get over it. It's not the same thing anymore. Get over it. It doesn't hurt you. I don't care. Get over it.
Well, of course, there's a lot of things that you would think don't hurt you, and yet people are just blown away.
Well, like wearing a MAGA hat. If you get offended by somebody wearing a hat that says "Make America Great Again," even if you associate
the news,
if you associate that hat with Trump and you associate Trump with racism, you can't do that. What's funny, of course, you can, but that's just
the people that are so. It's amazing to me that people associate that with the most vile racism.
That's just an attempt.
And I got to ask yourself, if you're claiming you're not a racist, and yet you see racism everywhere, you're a racist.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
we have here in town. The simple fact is that we've got some people here in our city commission, county commission, and so forth that don't see themselves. They claim to be
right.
The calming, whatever,
anti-race people. I would say like 2/3
vile racists.
Something like 2/3 or 3/4 of the people who are calling racism today are the actual racists,
right?
And you can tell because. They identify people by their skin color and then they attack them for that. Or they promote people with a different skin color. And either way, you're doing it by skin color, which is the textbook definition of racism. You can't get away from it. But you know what they're going to say? We're just racist for the correct people.
Right. Correct racist.
That's right.
Well, this is, this all has to do with an allied thing called projection, I think. And one of the things that I did see the other day, I was watching this. About there was another one of these mega preachers that had been, he was apparently vehemently and just anti-gay. I mean, just his whole,
John of God or no?
Might have been.
Okay.
Anyway, he was vehemently anti-gay, and it turns out that he has a history of hooking up with guys.
Oh yeah, well,
he's just vehemently.
Well, no, it was like what's her name's husband? Was it Sarah Palin's husband? That was like his job is to convert people back to straightness or something.
Right.
And he has you look at him and you listen to him, and like you could be 95% sure that he's gay.
Okay.
Just by watching him.
He's like, I don't think that was Sarah. That wasn't her.
No, it was.
No, don't say that. It was somebody else.
Right. It was
somebody else.
I can see her face. It was the other woman who ran for president, that looks a lot like Palin but isn't.
Don't say that on my friend Palin.
Whatever. Okay.
Anyway, no, I thought that when she ran with McCain that she would have been better than McCain, but only marginally. Only just barely. Well,
yeah, I mean, just because McCain's a warmonger.
Right. Exactly. And, yeah, that's right. So,
okay.
Oh, he was, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, I'm about done.
Okay. All right, let me see if I got anything.
Let's see if you got anything that's important.
You got my Kamala Harris. Oh, I want to say one thing. Rudy, shut up. Shut the hell up, Rudy. Jesus, you suck as the lawyer. Trump, fire Rudy. Seriously, fire freaking Rudy. He sucks. He's out there yapping his face off.
And he should know. Of all the people on the planet.
He's the attorney. He should be telling Trump to shut up. And he's out there yapping. And he's just digging holes. I mean, it's like, dude, shut up. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah, I saw that. It's unbelievable. And boy, talk about ruining it for his client.
Jesus, man.
My client is so good. It reminds me of one of the greatest. I've been looking for it, but it's not on. Is when De Niro, I guess it was De Niro, whatever, gets up there and says,
"Oh no, yeah, Pacino,
right. Pacino." It says, my client is guilty. That was one of the best scenes you have ever. That was right next to. With the Jack Nicholson,
you can't handle the
truth, right? But Pacino, when he got there and lynched his own client, and this is what Rudy's doing. Yeah. My client is guilty.
Seriously.
Oh my God!
I shot the clerk. Wait, Trump shot the clerk? Come on, man.
Just so funny.
All right.
When I think about Pacino in that thing, out of order. I'm out of order. You're out of
Court
order.
is out of order. Well, hey, thanks everybody for joining us. Bill and Jane, John, Tiffany. Hope you had a good time. We did.
We did. I'm still laughing. Oh my gosh.
We will see you next Sunday, or this coming Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Hope you all got to see the red moon.
Yeah, it was cool.
I went out and watched it.
Yep, for a bit. This is the Jimmy Doane Show. I'm Counselor Curtis. This is Jimmy Doane. These are our copyright verifications right here. For Kevin MacLeod, this is Cold Funk. Other track was Whiskey on the Mississippi. We appreciate everyone checking us out. So, we will see you soon.
Or you'll see us, let's hope.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends, for God's sakes. Do us a like or something, anything, whatever, I don't know. Do us a lick, no like. I mean,
All right, see you soon.